Recently, I did a video on narcissism talking about why it is a bad label, but I didn't want to make the video so long, and so I'm going to do a part two here talking about the unhelpfulness of the word narcissism and one specific reason why it is an unhelpful word. Hello everyone, Rick Thomas here. We're helping people live effective lives. If you want to watch the first video of narcissism, you can look in the description of this video and you can watch it, and I would encourage you to do that. But in this one, I'm not going to repeat that information, but I want to talk about another reason why people like the word narcissism and why ultimately it's not a helpful word to use if you are wanting to help a person to get over their narcissistic behavior, as we label it. The idea that I'm thinking about in this video is descriptive psychology. Descriptive psychology is just an individual or a group of people that describe a behavior. And so they list out commonalities in a behavior, like here are 6 things that are common with this type of person, and then they give that individual a label. And so like a narcissist, or maybe a more refined category of narcissism would be a covert narcissist. They would say a covert narcissist does these 6 things. And so if you see a person doing these 6 things, then you label them as a covert narcissist. That is descriptive psychology. Now, the problem with descriptive psychology is that it just describes. That's all that it does. But some people, and here's a trap for people who are victimized by sinful people, is sometimes we just want to be understood by someone. Will somebody understand me? Can someone see what is going on, what that person is doing to me? Therefore, the individual will come along and say they're doing this, 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 this. I understand, and not only do I see those 6 things happening, but that person is a narcissist because that's what those 6 things mean. And then the offended person says, yes, they understand me. Thank you so much. I feel understood. Now, being affirmed and being validated and being understood is important. If I have a cold, for example, and I explain to my wife that these are the symptoms, these are the things that are going on with me, I do want her to understand. I do want to experience sympathy from her, and that is important. So I'm not minimalizing the need to understand what is happening with an individual. But where we can get tripped up with descriptive psychology is that we can create a false continuum. And what I mean by that is that if the person can describe what is going on in my life, and if they understand what is going on in my life, and then they give me a label for what they are describing and for what they're understanding, then I give them the power to bring a solution as well. And that is a false continuum. If they can understand me so well, then obviously they know what the solution is. Now, unfortunately, narcissism is a cultural word. It is a psychological word with psychological subcategories. Therefore, there's going to be a psychological solution that will come out of the DSM-5, and that's where we'll get in trouble. And this is a major reason why the word narcissism is not a good word, because it creates this false continuum that is born out of this idea of descriptive psychology. Therefore, it's better for a biblicist to come along and say the person is doing this, 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 and this, and therefore this is sinful behavior, and this is what we need to do about it, because we can honestly and accurately identify what is going on without embracing cultural nomenclature or cultural language. We use Bible language that this person is angry, that this person is self-righteous, that this person is jealous, this person is envious, and there's so many other different words. This person is selfish, which is a broad word, of course, but you can get into a granular level of selfishness. But we have a lot of biblical words that make up a better nomenclature for understanding what is going on in the individual. And then the person who is offended by the offender, well, they say, yes, you do understand what's going on from a bibliocentric perspective. You understand what is happening to me, and you have a better way of diagnosing and analyzing the problem. And of course, your solution is going to be more accurate, more biblical, ultimately, hopefully transformative, because you're moving down a biblical spectrum or a biblical continuum rather than a psychological continuum. And so the big idea here is about descriptive psychology. We can put so much weight in a person's ability to describe what is happening to us that we give them authority, or we give them power over us to bring their solutions. Well, if they use secular nomenclature, if they use secular labels, subcategories, and primary categories to describe what is going on and then label it, well, then they're going to bring their solutions, which ultimately is not solutions at all. And so we don't want to not diagnose. We do not want to not analyze, but we have to do it biblically if we want to get to a place of possible potential transformation. The Bible brings transformation. Psychology can only bring relief to a problem, but it doesn't have the hope or help that can bring transformation. And so narcissism is not the best word. And if you want to get into more detail about why I say that, then please watch the first video and then this video together talking about descriptive psychology, and then we will have a better way of identifying what someone is doing to you, analyzing it, bringing a biblical perspective, and hopefully a biblical solution.